The thing about it is too, the guy at the Kensington Market, Ernesto, I don't know if he runs a school, or if he has a coven, because the group of people that he was with looked like all soulless beings. They all looked dark and demonic. So I'm pretty sure he teaches people how to energy vamp off of other people. I'm sure he does a lot of rituals, involving black magic, of course, because I know when I was at the Kensington Market, I was across from his store. He had a tree, like a cut tree carved in a face outside of his shop, and he used to actually put something into the carving. And he did it a lot around Halloween time. And I had to close my door because whatever energy was coming from his location was very, it felt very toxic. Like this guy was, I remember when I first saw him and his wife, they didn't have any kids, but they used to walk around barefoot, and he used to drink his soup out of like those spaghetti jars. And he used to watch me a lot, and I'm pretty sure he managed to get, he used to go around like the whole market and cause chaos with other people. He went to this one woman's jewelry store who had like natural stones and stuff that she made jewelry with. He accused the woman of stealing his ideas, and the woman was doing nothing of a kind that he was doing. It just so happened that the woman's daughter's husband was also Hispanic, so there were similarities between the jewelry that they were creating. And I know this because I've spoken to the woman, and the woman said he came into the shop and harassed her and told her to stop copying his way of making jewelry. Like he was the only Hispanic that knew how to make Hispanic jewelry or something. I don't know. Anyways, I remember he had a little table one day. Before he had his shop, and he was in the market, and you can tell he was mumbling something, like he was either doing like ritualistic, like, I don't know, mantras to call people, because I remember looking at my store and I would see that he can call people to his shop, but he can't make people buy. So people used to come and look, but then they would walk off because they could see that there was no value, anyways, no value in whatever he was doing. He competed with me a lot, and I think what he started doing is he kicked out, there was a Asian woman across from his shop, and she was like really nice to him, and she was there for years before he came. He has a way of like using dark magic or calling on lower forces to get his wish fulfillment, because he made my shop close. And the reason I'm talking about all this stuff is because he's still doing it. Like he's still at the market, and the market has become so dark and demonic. Like you go to the market now, it's not even enjoyable because you can feel like there's certain energies that surround the market. I don't go there anymore because I know this guy and what he does and what his group of friends do. And they seem to all do the same thing. They seem to learn how to steal other people's energy and use it as their own. Because I remember seeing him and his wife walking around barefoot, and I looked over and I was like, oh wow, those people are really like they don't have very much. Like you can look at them and be like, oh wow, they don't really have anything, because whatever was surrounding him and his wife was very low. Like it was very low vibrational. And I think he figured out, because he studied me and he tried to take everything from me. They started attacking me every single minute of the day. They would send hovering and monitoring spirits to watch over me and to make sure what I was doing. They would come and spoil it. This guy harassed me in my dreams. Him and his ugly one that looks like the Quasimodo. I mean, this guy was ugly, right? But they all knew black magic. They all knew how to manipulate chakras and how to, bend people's will, and how to get people to like do what they want people to do, and take and take and take and take. Because these are people that come from poverty. They had nothing. They had nothing. So once they saw someone that had something, the envy, the jealousy, the greed, the sloth that came with their energy, they started figuring out ways to take. And they weren't only taking from me, they were taking from my family members. I'm talking about young kids. They were taking from young kids who could not stand up for themselves. That's how ignorant these mother effers were, right? Like, that's how low these people were, attacking children and courting into children and their energy to steal from them and then turn around and do energy transfer to these children. I watched it happen, and I know exactly what Ernesto and his friends were doing, especially the ugly one that looks like the Quasimodo. This guy was huge. He looked like a giant. But his face was so distorted, like you look at him and you get repulsed because the energy alone around these people was so toxic. You felt sick when you saw them. Be careful of people, okay, that pretend to be healers, because that's what he was doing. He was pretending to be a healer. And he wasn't a healer. He was actually taking other people's energy and draining them of their essence and calling it his own. So be careful of people who say they're healers, right? Because I met a bunch of other Hispanic people from, not from Peru, but from like places like Cuba and stuff like that started doing a lot of black magic. There was one guy that wanted me to pay him to heal my chakras. And because I didn't allow him to do it the way he wanted to, he got mad and started hexing me. So be careful of people who say they're healers and they're not healers.